Greetings, BCF family from the Tadina household. Like the other readings, I'm going to read a little bit, one verse from Psalm 23 and one of Jesus's I am statements. Psalm 23:6, surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And John 15 says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me as I remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. What strikes me first about these two passages is the two metaphors in them. Obviously, in one we are sheep and God is the shepherd. In the other we are branches. Jesus is the vine and God is the gardener. For both the sheep and the branches, things turn out well if you stay as close as possible to the shepherd and the vine. One of my favorite things about this I am statement, I am the true vine, is that although it is the purpose of a branch to bear fruit, the branches are not being commanded to bear fruit. We are commanded to remain securely fastened to the branch. The fruit is not the commanded performance or the duty. The fruit is not the commanded performance or the duty. The fruit is the promised outcome. God pours out promises on the branch that stays securely connected to the vine. What he promises in these passages, you will get pruned. That's a guarantee. You will be clean. Ask whatever you wish in his name and it will be given you. You will remain in his love. You will bear much fruit. Your joy will be complete. That's a lot of promises on his end. So on our side is our responsibility in this arrangement, and on the other side is his. Producing fruit is not on our side of the list. It's on his. Our one job is to remain in Jesus. Then the vine, full and bursting with nutrients and moisture and genetic instructions, fulfills his end of the deal, producing beautiful, ripe fruit through our lives. We don't have to plan it, manage it, or approve of it. We are not responsible for the type of fruit, how much of it there is, or even what is done with the fruit. We just hug the vine tight and let the vine fulfill what we were designed to do. Branches are designed for this. And when you do what you're designed for, there is joy, complete joy, a sense of fulfillment, an answer to the questions, why am I here and what am I supposed to do? We tend to think the answers to these questions have to be complicated, that it is completely up to us to plan and carry out our lives and careers, so that at the end of our lives we can look back satisfied at having found a purpose and carried it out. But here Jesus takes the huge burden of that off of our shoulders and puts it on his own. And instead of wondering and worrying if our career path or life's work will be accompanied by fruit and joy and purpose, Jesus gives us 100% guarantee. So by simply remaining fastened to our vine or remaining with our shepherd, here again is what he promises. We will get pruned. We will be clean. If we ask whatever we wish in his name, it will be given us. We will remain in his love. We will bear much fruit. Our joy will be complete. Goodness and mercy will follow us all the days of our lives, and we will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This is a great comfort to me because I tend to look at my life and analyze its fruit production, comparing it to other people, and wonder how I can manage it better. I want to work on myself. I want to do some self-improvement and construct an ideal version of myself. But apart from the vine, a branch is just a piece of firewood. And then Jesus comes along and takes all the self-loathing and frustration out of figuring out what to do with my life and promises cleanness and fruit and joy and answered prayers if I trust him and remain in him. The fruit that comes from my life is kind of none of my business. It isn't even necessary that I see what is being produced. If I'm focusing on the vine, I might not even notice what's happening behind me at the other end of the branch, or indeed at the ends of all the other branches. I want to read you a short excerpt of a sermon by a man named G.D. Watson, who was a preacher and evangelist at the turn of the last century. This passage has had a big impact and comfort on my life, and I hope that it will on yours as well, on the topic of bearing fruit. If God has called you to be really like Jesus, he will draw you into life of crucifixion and humility and put upon you such demands of obedience that you will not be able to follow other people or measure yourself by other Christians. And in many ways, he will seem to let other good people do things which he will not let you do. Other Christians and ministers who seem very religious and useful may push themselves, pull wires, work schemes to carry out their plans, but you cannot do it. If you attempt it, you will meet with such failure and rebuke from the Lord as to make you sorely penitent. Others may boast of themselves, of their work, of their success, of their writings, but the Holy Spirit will not allow you to do any such thing. And if you begin it, he will lead you into some deep mortification that will make you despise yourself and all your good works. Others may be allowed to succeed in making money or may have a legacy left to them, but it is likely God will keep you poor because he wants you to have something far better than gold, namely a helpless dependence on him, that he may have the privilege of supplying your needs day by day out of an unseen treasury. The Lord may let others be honored and put forward and keep you hidden in obscurity because he wants you to produce some choice, fragrant fruit for his coming glory, which can only be produced in the shade. He may let others be great, but keep you small. He may let others do a work for him and get the credit for it, but he will make you work and toil on without knowing how much you are doing. And then to make your work still more precious, he may let others get the credit for the work which you have done, and thus make your reward 10 times greater when Jesus comes. The Holy Spirit will put a strict watch over you with a jealous love, and will rebuke you for little words and feelings or for wasting your time, which other Christians never seem to be distressed over. So make up your mind that God is an infinite sovereign and has a right to do as he pleases with his own. He may not explain to you 1,000 things which puzzle your reasoning in his dealings with you, but if you absolutely sell yourself to be his slave, he will wrap you in a jealous love and bestow upon you many blessings which come only to those who are in the inner circle. Settle it forever, then, that you are to deal directly with the Holy Spirit, and that he is to have the privilege of tying your tongue, chaining your hand, closing your eyes in ways that he does not seem to use with others, And now, when you are so possessed with the loving God that you are in your secret heart pleased and delighted over his peculiar, personal, private, jealous guardianship and management of the Holy Spirit over your life, you will have found the vestibule